All right, my dudes, welcome back to part 26 of your horror movie recommendations reviewed. So I'm super stoked because this week I picked 4 movies that you guys recommended me, and they were all pretty awesome. So let's hit it. Here we go. Number 1, Shivers. So this was a David Cronenberg movie from 1975 I had never seen, and it was recommended by Gary James Taylor from YouTube. Thank you so much. Okay, number 1, what blew my mind is it all takes place in Montreal. And oddly enough, I'm from there, right? Oddly enough, it's almost like it takes place on Nuns Island. So you have Montreal, the city, and then you just cross this like little bridge, and it's weird already. It's considered like a higher, nicer place to live kind of thing. Like real estate's freaking expensive, but there's also like this vibe to it. Like it's a lot of condos and like kind of like this bougie vibe. Anyways, the movie was made again in 75, and it takes this idea of, oh, come live in these condos. You'll have all the services there. There's a doctor there. There's this beautiful like racket club. I'm like, oh my god, you know when you watch something and you're like, this is so kind of accurate. And I don't know. I don't know if it was always like that. I would love to know if anybody knows a little history like about like Montreal in the 70s about that. Anyways, so introducing you kind of have like the real estate agents like showing around this beautiful condo with all its wonderful amenities. And right away you're kind of thrown into this weird situation where you see like this guy basically trying to help out this kid who looks like the kid's freaking out basically. Anyways, and he's trying to like get him under control. Right away, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm getting into. I did not read up about this movie. You guys just told me to watch it, and I was like, okay. All of a sudden, this movie turns into this like people are like in their mirrors and like, oh, like what is this weird thing? You see them like constantly like at the doctors in the building, and like this one dude's like, oh man, like I'm sick, I'm feeling weird, and I have like this weird like ball in my stomach, and like classic like Cronenberg with like his body horror vibes, or it's like you see the dude moving the little thing and anyways, this movie is crazy. It's whack. And this one basically takes this turn of like these doctors are basically trying to create this like it's like trying to create an enzyme that can like reproduce different organs, but then it ends up being like the sexual thing. Anyways, crazy film. Definitely worth watching. Is it one of my favorites by Cronenberg? Maybe not top fave, but it was really good. I was not expecting that. And like the effects are fantastic. I get what people are saying. Like I read a couple of comments where people are like, like this creeped me out big time. There's like a whole scene of like this girl in a bathtub, and you're just like, you remember Freddy even? Like that moment where like the hand comes. In this one, it's like she's just relaxing, and then like the weird slithery thing comes out because they're kind of like alive, and it's like a virus almost that kind of like keeps going around, and people are eating each other and fucking orgies. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyways, you got to see it. Shivers by Cronenberg. Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate it. All right, next. Next up on my list is Yummy. Okay, Yummy was recommended by William Turner and also Trash Stash from YouTube. Guys, thank you so much. So I had this in my watch list for a while, and you guys recommended this based off my zombie video. We did top zombie videos. This many weeks back, months, I don't even remember, around Halloween. Anyways, and you guys nominated Yummy as a good zombie movie to watch. Were you guys right? And man, was this a fun one. So normally, I'm not that big on like, I don't say satire, but like comedy when it comes to horror. I like more serious and creepy and gross and stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable. You guys know that. But Yummy, whoa. Okay, so it starts off, they're in the car, and like you got this like woman and her mom and her boyfriend in the car, and they're driving to like a plastic surgeon place. Okay, like, I'm so excited. This is so good. It's streaming on Shudder, by the way. So they're driving, and you clearly figure out this girl's trying to get her boobs reduced. So she's got massive like honkers, and she needs to get them, down. And the mom also just wants plastic surgery, anyways. You could tell the mom's a bit more like, I don't know, just that type, and she's more practical. Anyways. This is the gist. And you get there, and the husband just seems a bit nervous about it all. And he's like, like your boobs are great, like you don't have to do this, like this seems like a huge procedure, like people sometimes like don't come out of it. And she's like, shut up, like they're doing this all the time. Anyways, quickly the shit goes wrong. You get introduced to this like weird creepy dude who works there, who's already like flirting with her, and he basically helps, you know, keep the husband slash boyfriend guy, you know, with him kind of thing. He's like, you know, I quit worrying about your girl. She's going off to the surgery room. Let me show you around. And they end up finding this room where there's a girl who's like attached to the bed and like face half ripped off, and like very much 28 Days Later vibes where you're like, oh my god, like that is some kind of experiment gone wrong in like the basement of the hospital. He freaks out. Somehow she gets loose, and of course it's a virus, right? So right away he's like, holy shit, like I have to get back upstairs. And like the doctors are like, fuck, not you again, right? Because he's like, you gotta stop this. And like they just think he's being like a neurotic asshole who doesn't want his girlfriend getting her boobs reduced. Meanwhile, he's like, nah, man, there's some fucked up shit going on downstairs. And all hell breaks loose. This movie is so good. And the humor, like, this guy can't catch a break. He's a good guy, but he just can't catch a break in it. The sleazy guy stays sleazy, like, you know, in character, and it's just so good. The girl's fantastic. She's a super strong character in it, and it's all like trying to like survive, you know, this like weird hospital, and like what's going on, what is even rampaging around, and they're all like these like just savage zombie freaking people going around. It was really good. I'm so happy I got to see that movie. The ending was like a little cherry on top. I needed that. And it was such a breath of fresh air. Honestly, guys, great taste. Watch it. All right, next. And what a great name, Yummy. Grave Encounters. So Grave Encounters was recommended by Drousnavat from Imgur. Grave Encounters is a really, really good handheld style ghost movie that came out. I forget what year. I did not note it. My bad, dudes. But wow, they did a great job with this one. So basically they go into this hospital. They're all like, yeah, we're ghost hunters and we're gonna find the ghosts. And like you kind of see that behind the scenes, like they're just kind of like, oh, whatever, like we'll just get good footage. And shit obviously goes wrong. Like this is like an old asylum type hospital, and like there was a lot of bad energy in there. This movie did such a great job at keeping you watching. I think that's my biggest problem. So horror for me, you got to keep my attention. You got to keep me in suspense or intrigued by like visuals. I find it hard sometimes with these movies that are more like handheld and like you're, you know, seeing it from that aspect, like found footage-ish. I just find it tough sometimes because you literally have to keep watching, and half the time nothing's happening, and what does happen is like a door closes. And like if you're really into it, you're like, oh, you know, like it really hits you. But if you're not that into it, you just don't really know what just happened. This movie, though, goes beyond that. You get to, like, there's this one scene that really stuck with me. And, like, they're like, no, nothing's going on. And you just see the girl's hair kind of, like, flop in the air. And, like, obviously nothing's there. And they're like, hey, let's get the fuck out. It's, like, the moment where they're like, shit's going down. We got to get out of here. And it's a wonderful little movie about how it all goes to shit. And it's almost like that moment where you're like, you know, these like film crews that are like trying to make money off of all these people that are like, you know, it's really not real, but like, let's just make all the cash we can. And it's like, it is real and you're fucked. Good luck getting out. Yeah. Fantastic film. Like actually scary. And I highly suggest do not secondhand watch this movie. Do not do your laundry at the same time. Do not cook at the same time. Sit there. Watch it, turn your freaking lights off, and it's a good one. It's a really good one. All right, last movie on the list. Demon Wind. Okay, Demon Wind was recommended to me by Mirnzi Movie Mansion from Insta. Dude, I had seen the poster for Demon Wind. It has been in my watch list on Tubi for a while, and I had no idea what Demon Wind was about. On top of it, I beat High on Life recently, and somebody was telling me I could have popped into some theater and watched the whole movie of Demon Wind on there. On top of it, Blood Harvest is on all the time. Anyways, Demon Wind. This movie's bananas. This movie is probably like one of those classic, like, if you're into, like, really be ridiculous horror, you have to see it. I don't know why I never heard about it growing up, but, like, I guess it's big in the limelight now considering they had it on that game. Guys, it's so funny. It's, like, ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it starts off, you have, like, this classic group of kids that are, like, oh, like, you know, you have, like, the tough jock who's, like, such a dick. He's, like, macking on other people's girlfriends. I love it. It's so bad, but it's so good. And then you have the guy who's, like, I'm really sad. I need to, like, go, like, check out my parents' estate because, like, my dad died and, like, something, like, strange happened. And, like, I need to figure it out. So, like, it's all about this guy who kind of looks like a weird, like, Emilio Estevez, but not Emilio Estevez. Anyways, they get there. And, like, kind of like in Cabin, what was it? Cabin in the Woods. You have that dude who's like, you can't go there. This is bad juju. And they're all like, too bad. We're going. And, of course, they go. They go in. And, like, boom. You end up being in, like, this whole, like, whirlwind of shit going down. They're like, oh, my God. They find out that it's all about, like, people in that house are trying to basically summon Satan. Okay? Demons come out of nowhere, guys. This movie is ridiculous. You know what? Really worth the watch, especially if you're just looking for something fun, gory too. Like that, you know, the effects were actually pretty damn good. That demon at the end, I was like, oh, come on. And you know what? This movie, hands down, probably has some of the best lines in it that I've heard in a long time. Like, I would literally just sit there and be like laughing to myself because it's so ridiculous. It's so cheese. Demon Wind. How did they get such a good poster cover art, though? Right? Anyways, worth the watch. It's ridiculous. I would love to know what you guys thought about any of these four if you've seen them. And or if you haven't, go watch them and then let me know what you think. And keep the recommendations coming, you guys. It's 2023. I'm looking for all kinds of movies. Throw them at me. You guys know. I'm open to pretty much anything. All right. Thank you so much. If you're subscribed, you're the best. And if you're not, just get on that. Just click somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around. Have a great week, my dudes. Okay, bye.